Convenience is one of the best type of customer service your online retail store can provide to your tribe. In this video, I'm going to give you 9 steps to launching your online retail store or website in 2020. Hey, I'm Chantel Bancroft, fashion designer of theurbantiger.com, and if you have a fashion label and want to launch your online retail store fast and easy, a store that connects with your tribe, makes you a purple cow in your niche, then go ahead and hit the subscribe button and hit that little bell too to be notified of when I've got new videos coming up, and go ahead and join up to the designer community list. You can find that in the description box below this video. And if you keep watching to the end of this video, I have a free bonus for you to get all these steps, so keep watching. So what are these 9 steps? Well, let's get started. Step 1, product. You're going to need a finished product that's ready to go. Not a prototype, not a toile if you're making garments. This needs to be a finished product that's ready to go. So when your audience wants to order it, all they have to do is tap a button, order it, pay for it, and wait for it to be delivered. Make sure you have really crisp product shots. I'm talking really good lighting and shots that show off the details so that your audience understands the benefit of your offering. Also, your product needs to be priced for profit. Sounds obvious, but it's a step that a lot of people miss. I know I look different. Yeah, my hair looks different. It's because I'm recording this for the second time round, because my camera the first time round decided she didn't want to play ball, and so she didn't record anything. So I'm here a week later recording step 1 again, but no matter, a week on, this information is just as good. If you have a fashion label and you got a finished product ready to sell, in the comments section, go ahead and tell me the name of your brand, what products you design and make, and where I can find you on Instagram so I can come over and say hi. Step 2, domain. A domain name is a URL that you will be sending your customers, your tribe, anybody who's interested in your brand. You'll be sending them to that URL. So it's very important that you get a domain name that is the same as your label. It would be confusing if you had a brand called, I don't know, Mirror Mirror, and you chose a domain name that was called Reflections. It's too confusing. You need to make sure that the name is the same, that the domain name is the same as the name of your label. It needs to stick in people's minds. This domain name will now be the URL of your website. And once you have a domain name, it gets directed to your website, and that's how people find you. It's really easy to get a domain name nowadays. You can Google different places to find it. They're very cheap and cheery. You can also find domains that cost somewhere between £11 and £12 depending upon how many years you want to actually rent that domain, because that's what you're doing. You're just renting it. You don't outright own it. You buy a domain from a company that sells domains, and you choose what package you want, so either a year or 2 years or 3 years or 10 years. But you need a domain, so you can't skip this process, otherwise you'll have nowhere to direct your website. Step 3, e-commerce platform. An e-commerce platform is basically who is going to host your website. This can slow down your decision making because there are lots of different places that you can have a website. You need to figure out where you're going to have your website. Is it going to be a third-party website like, let's say, Etsy, or is it going to be an e-commerce platform that's very strong and has very strong e-commerce links like Shopify? The decision is yours, and that's based on what's right for your needs right now, what type of inventory you have. There's lots of little decisions to make in between, but once you've made that decision, you can go on to step 4. This is a step that cannot be missed, otherwise it's possible to be thrown in prison, and y'all don't need that when you're starting your own brand. If you are based in the UK, you need to register your business with HMRC, that's Her Majesty's Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs. Every business has to do this, and some time ago, a long time ago, you were able to be in business for 3 months before you had to register. Things have changed, and as soon as you're ready to get going for your business, you need to register with HMRC. If you're not in the UK, then you need to register with the tax office of your country. This is not a step that can be missed. You don't need to be getting in trouble. It's a very easy step. This is not a difficult thing for you to do. If you Google HMRC, all the information will come up and it will tell you how you can register your business with them. If you are a one-man or one-woman business, you'll be registering your business as a sole trader, or you have a partnership. There are different types of registrations that you will do in accordance to how big your team is, but like I said, I don't want to go into that too heavy because that's worth a whole other video. But right now, go over to HMRC. Sorry, I burped as I was talking. Go over to HMRC and all the information will be there for you. Okay, what step are we on now? What step are we on now? 5. Step 5. Okay, this is an important step. This is an important step. Okay, this is a very important step because this is how your business will actually receive money from your tribe, your audience, your customer. I don't like to call customers. I feel like you should be trying to make a connection with the people who buy from you, so I call them audience or tribe. My preferred term is tribe. So when I say tribe, I mean customers, so that you know from now on, when I say tribe, I mean customers. So how you receive money from your tribe is the payment process, and it needs to be set up separately before you even launch your store. Best practice is to have a separate bank account, and this bank account is where all your transactions, so everything you receive, all the money you receive coming into your business and all your expenses should go in and out of this one account. This is not a personal account. This is different to your personal account, and it's a good idea to keep these two things separated, because when it comes to the time when you've got to do your bookkeeping, which you have to do every single year because now you've registered your business, having to find those transactions when you've got a deadline coming up, it just makes the whole process more confusing, and it's more professional. Also, if you're going to get a separate bookkeeper and accountant to do your accounts, it's more professional and it's an easier process to have everything coming through one account. I know when I do my bookkeeping, it's a crazy time of the year. I am not the best bookkeeper in the world. I mean, I am a qualified bookkeeper, but I'm just not as organized as I used to be when I first started my business, and I didn't really know what I was doing. Now that I know what I'm doing and I've got more things to do, my bookkeeping it's just fucked up basically. So, but knowing that I've got all my transactions through one bank account that's dedicated to my business makes it easier when that time of the year comes round and I have to find all my transactions and supply all that information to HMRC. So separate your bank accounts, and it's not hard. You don't have to open up a whole new bank account. Just take one of the accounts that you've got that's not doing anything. It can be a savings account, it can be a current account. Just take one of the accounts and just say, okay, I'm going to dedicate this account as my business account, and then just pay for everything through there. So when you're buying your supplies or your fabric or your expenses, or you're seeing a contractor or you've got a consultant, anything that's happening with your business, use the bank card that's attached to that account to make that transaction. And if you can, it's a really good rule of thumb to put everything on your card, pay for everything on your card rather, and that way you have an electronic recording of that transaction that will go straight to that bank account. So when you get all your bank statements, every transaction that you've made for your business is right there. It's sitting right there. It makes the process a whole lot easier. Now, that being said, it's okay if you need to make some transactions through your personal account. I do this sometimes. Sometimes I don't have money in my business account, so I use my personal account to pay for supplies or for business trips. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, it's okay. But if you can, 99% of the time, put money in that account and make the transaction through that account. Trust me, when bookkeeping and self-assessment time comes, you're gonna thank me. Step 6, shipping system. Okay, so the delivery system is basically how you're gonna deliver the order, which courier service you're going to use, and how you're going to package that particular item to make sure that it's received in its entirety without it being broken or damaged, because that's really important. That shit can really upset a customer if they receive it and what they've bought from you, they've paid you their good money, and what they've bought from you is broken. So it's really essential that you think about this. And to break that down even further, it's how am I going to deliver it? Am I going to deliver it first class, second class? Is it going to be next day delivery? Is it going to be express delivery? That's one thing. What courier service am I going to use? Royal Mail, Parcel Force. Am I going to use an outside courier, Hermes, DCP, I believe it's called. That's what I mean when I say delivery system. And then with your packaging, what materials am I going to use, and have I thought about the costs of that, and where do I put these costs? Because it's really great to impact the person who's buying your things, which is amazing, but the more you cram into that, the more you have to think about pricing. Is it going to be too expensive for me to do that? What's the cost of that? How much of the cost of that shipping am I going to put onto my customer? Is it going to be all of the shipping cost, or is it going to be part of the shipping cost? Me personally, I put all of the shipping costs, because I believe that if you want to receive something, you should pay for it. And that's it. 7, shop policies. So these are your policies for exchange and return. How are you going to clearly identify that so that your your tribe understands what they can and cannot do when they receive your item and when they need to return it or exchange it? This is really important, because you know what it's like when you've bought something from a company and their customer service in you trying to get that item back and getting your money back has been shit, and you've probably not bought from that place again. I know I've had that experience. There's 1 or 2 places that fucked up my order. They didn't give me good customer service, and I've never shopped with them again. You can avoid that by having a system in place beforehand that troubleshoots all those little things that that customer may need from you before it becomes a problem. It's also important for you to have an address where your customer can return the item to. If you don't want to give your home address, which is I don't see anything wrong with you not wanting to do that. I think it's fine. If you work from home, you don't need to give out that address, but you need to think about what address am I going to give my customers so they can return the item back to me and I can make sure I can get it. So that's thinking of things like, do I want to give my home address, or do I need to get a PO box? That's something for you to think about, and you need to have that in place before you launch your store. So what you have to think about is, well, what are my boundaries? What am I willing to accept? What am I not willing to accept when it comes to an exchange or return of my goods? And what memorable customer service can you give within that process that your customer's going to think, gosh, this was amazing. I will shop from them again. They treated me amazingly. I got my money back ASAP. All right, it was really easy to get an exchange. I had really good contact information. I was able to contact them as soon as I had a problem with the item. All of these little things you have to have in place. You have to identify what are their problems. What problems could come about before the problem actually happens, and when you do that, you will in turn give a memorable piece of customer service to everybody who comes to your store and wants to return an item. And you want to retain your customers, and thinking about it this way, pre-planning before these things happen is how you retain your customers, how you keep them coming back and buying from you, and how you keep them talking about you in a favorable way to people when they are referring your store to their friends. I played around with my shop policies for quite a while. Even after I launched my stores, I was still chopping and changing them because it's really difficult to know what's fair and what's fair on me. If you need a little inspiration on how to write your shop policies or what you should put in your shop policies, go ahead and check out my shop policies. You head over to www.theurbentiger.com. You'll find them in the frequently asked questions section. So when I talk about contact information, what I mean is you need to organize a method, a way, a strategy, a system in which your tribe can get in contact with you if they need to talk to you about a product, if they've got any questions or queries, or in fact if they need to return an item for an exchange or a refund. And the best way to figure this out is to really think about you. Like, what do you prefer? What's best for you? Are you an email person? Would you prefer someone to email you? Do you have quick access to your email, or are you a phone person? Do you prefer taking phone inquiries because email is long and it gets in the way of you doing other things and you've got to be glued to your computer, or you hate having that ping, you just prefer to be called? No matter what you decide, put this on your contact page, and you need to make sure that you can be consistent with this and it's realistic to you and your lifestyle, especially if you're a one-person business like myself. It can get a bit harrowing when you think about how you need to be contacted. So please make sure that you choose a contact method that suits you and you can be consistent with, and your customer will actually be able to get in contact with you if they have a problem or a query about a product. If you do choose to use email, you need to think about what will your email provider be. Are you going to use a professional email that has your website URL at the end of it? And I would definitely say yes to this one. I know nowadays people tend to use their Gmail account a little bit more, and if that's all you've got, then start off with that. But it's more professional and it adds more branding to your brand if you can use your website URL as the ending of your email address, and it's really easy to set up. Just make sure that you look through the services of the company that you bought your domain name with, and it will have a service there for you to be able to have a professional email address that they can push towards your, let's say, Gmail address. It's a service that every domain name provider provides. 9. Social platforms. What's the one thing that you do every time you go to a new website that's offering a service or a product that you think you may want to pay money for? And I'm not talking about the about page. Where's the other place that you go so that you feel like, if I give this company my money, they're not going to run away with it? I'm hoping you said social media link. Being on social media is one of the easiest ways to, in the beginning, instill trust in your potential tribe. When someone comes to your website, one of the things that they do, and even if you said you didn't do it, I know I do it, apart from going to their about page, some point they will scroll around and look for your social media links. They'll press that link and they'll go through to whatever platform you're on, and then they will flick through all the information to make sure that you are A, a viable company, B, you actually have a service, and C, you're spending time on this platform connecting with other people. That's one of the ways that your audience will be like, okay, no, this is a real business. They're not necessarily going to run away with my money. And if you're not on social media, then you need to be on social media, because that is one way that your audience is going to feel certain that you're not going to run away with their money. And it's important in the beginning, especially if someone's new to your website, that they feel that level of trust from you, because down the line they will buy from you eventually. If you have a product that they really like and enjoy, they will buy from you. But they also want other ways to be able to connect with you first, to see what you're doing, to see if you are honoring your brand message, to see your products outside of your website so that they can make an informed decision on whether or not they want to connect with you and invest money in the product or service that you are offering them. Choosing that platform is also very easy. Choosing which social media platform to be on, to be found on, is really easy. You need to be in the place where your tribe hangs out. And knowing where your tribe hangs out is already knowing the avatar for your ideal target audience. So once you've established that, it will be easy for you to know where they hang out. So for me, my tribe hangs out on YouTube, and they also hang out on Instagram. My business is very, very visual. All the pictures that I take are very detailed and bright, and I put them up on Instagram, and I put links on my website, and you can follow those links all the way through to Instagram, and you can see that how long I've been on there. You can see I have a certain amount of followers. You can see I'm a credible, viable business. I'm not just a fake spammy business that's here to just grab your money and go. So that's one way that I instill certainty in the people that come over to my website, and I'm saying that's the way that you can do it too. Don't be afraid of social media. You can use it to your own advantage, and you don't have to do that much. Just be on there, be consistent, and talk to people. So if you're not on social media and you're not really sure which platform to use or how to even get started, again, if you want to see how I manage this on Instagram, you can check out my brand on Instagram, which is @theurbantiger_ for some inspiration. And if you want to come over and chat with me about anything I've talked about in this video, or anything else, or any other questions you have about starting your online store, you can find me over at Bancroft. Did you find this video helpful? If so, go ahead and hit the like button. Also, go ahead and subscribe. I'll be doing more videos like this in the future. Hit the bell too. And also, go ahead and sign up to the designer community. I've been talking for such a long time. My mouth is like glue. Go ahead and sign up to the designer community mailing list. That mailing list is really good. I will notify you of when I drop a new video and exactly what that topic will be covering. I know I've given you a lot of information in this video, and it can be overwhelming in the beginning. However, if you follow all of the 9 steps, each step, you will launch your store in 2020 or your website. It's easy to do. You can do these steps. I believe in you. You can do these steps. You can launch your store in 2020. Don't worry if you couldn't write them down fast enough as I was going through each step. I have put together a free PDF with all of these steps. It's absolutely free. You can find a link to that PDF in the description box below. And if you've been toying with the idea of moving your business wholesale, you may be interested in this. I have been documenting my journey with going wholesale with my business, and I've been doing it for quite a while. I have a whole playlist with videos of me going through each step and my struggles and me cursing a lot, and I cursed a lot. And you can check out that playlist right here in the cards. Just tap the cards, you can check out that playlist.